All right, let's talk about building a smarter AI. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the exact blueprint for creating a chatbot that doesn't just talk, it actually understands you and gives you the right answers. Let's jump right in. We've all been there, right? You're trying to get a straight answer, and the chatbot you're talking to is giving you information that's completely out of date, or worse, it just confidently makes something up. It is so frustrating, and it gets right to the heart of the problem we're going to solve today.
So, what's the deal? Why do so many of these chatbots seem so, well, useless? It's actually pretty simple. They're basically stuck in the past. A traditional AI model's knowledge is completely frozen in time, limited only to the data it was trained on. It can't just go out and learn new things, which, as you can imagine, is a huge handicap.
And this little chart really lays it all out. On the left, you've got your traditional AI, its knowledge is static, it's prone to making stuff up, and it's totally shackled to its original training data. But on the right, you see the new way, a RAG-powered AI. It can access live info, which means it gives fact-based responses, and you can update its knowledge base whenever you want. So how do we get there? How do we build an AI that can actually keep up with the world? Well, the answer is an incredible technique called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. Honestly, the best way to think about it is that we're giving our AI a library card to a library that's infinite and is constantly being updated with new books. Let's break down what RAG actually means. It's really a two-step dance. When you ask a question, the AI's first move is to retrieve the most relevant, up-to-date facts from its special knowledge library. Then, and only after it has the facts, its second move is to generate a thoughtful, accurate answer based on that information. It finds the facts, then it forms the answer. Simple, but it changes everything. And the advantages here are just huge. First off, it means you get factually accurate answers. This slashes the chances of the AI just inventing things, what we call hallucinating. But maybe the biggest deal is that you can continuously feed it new information without having to do a full, incredibly expensive retraining of the entire model every single time. That is a game changer. Okay, time to put on our hard hats. We're going to build this thing. And just like building a house, you have to start with a rock-solid foundation. In the world of AI, that foundation is built from one thing: high-quality, perfectly organized data. This whole process really comes down to three key steps. First, we ingest the data. We gather up all our product manuals, company FAQs, databases, whatever is relevant. Second, we prepare it, clean out all the junk. But it's this third step, strategic chunking. That's the secret sauce. We have to break all that text down into small, digestible, meaningful pieces. This is absolutely vital for the AI to find what it needs, and fast. And this quote just says it all. If you skip the chunking step, you're basically telling the AI to read the entire library every time you ask a question, instead of just going to the right page. By chunking the data properly, we're creating a super efficient index that lets the AI pinpoint the exact paragraph it needs in a split second. Okay, so our library is perfectly organized. Now it's time to build the chatbot's brain, what we call its memory core. This is the magical part, where we transform all that plain text into a format the AI can actually understand, search, and remember. You see, computers don't get words like happy or sad, they get numbers. So our goal here is to convert all of our text into a numerical format that captures its actual meaning. Let me show you how that works. So first, we start with that knowledge base we just built, all of our cleaned up and perfectly chunked documents. This is our single source of truth. Then, we feed all that text into something called an embedding model. You can just think of it as a universal translator. It takes our words and turns them into a series of numbers called vectors. But here's the cool part. These numbers capture the meaning of the words. So the vectors for king and queen will be mathematically close, while the vectors for king and cabbage will be very far apart. And finally, all of these numerical vectors get stored in a really specialized kind of library called a vector database. The key here is that it doesn't organize things alphabetically. It organizes them by meaning. Concepts that are similar are stored right next to each other. This allows the AI to perform lightning-fast searches based on the idea you're asking about, not just the key words you use. All right, this is where it all comes together. The foundation is poured, the memory core is built and packed with knowledge. Now for the really fun part. We get to assemble all the pieces and flip the switch to bring our chatbot to life. So, we've got three main things to do here. First, we implement the retrieval system. We teach the AI how to do those meaning-based searches in its vector database. Second, we integrate that system with a powerful large language model, which is the part that takes the facts it finds and crafts them into a natural, human-sounding answer. And finally, we build the actual chat window, the interface where you and I will talk to it.
Now, this brings up a super important idea: prompt engineering specifically for RAG. You see, the quality of the final answer doesn't just depend on your question. It depends on how we teach the AI to ask itself questions. We have to craft the perfect internal prompts so that when you ask something, the AI knows how to query its own knowledge base in the smartest way possible, turning it from a simple data fetcher into a brilliant researcher.
And this is what it all leads to. All of that incredibly complex work on the back end, the data prep, the embeddings, the vector database, the prompt engineering, it all gets funneled into a simple, clean, user-friendly chat window, ready to provide an expert answer to its very first question. Now, let's just zoom out for a second. This entire process that we've just walked through, it's not just a cool science project. It's a complete, end-to-end blueprint for building a real-world product that solves real-world problems. And here it is, the full blueprint. It starts with identifying a problem worth solving. Then it moves through all the steps we've talked about: acquiring and preparing data, developing the RAG pipeline, and building the interface. And it goes all the way to the finish line, evaluating, optimizing, and finally deploying your solution for people to actually use. So why does all this matter? Well, because the applications for this are incredibly valuable. We're talking about customer support bots that actually know your company's products inside and out. We're talking about systems that can help lawyers search through millions of documents in seconds, or assistants that give doctors instant access to the latest medical research. The potential is massive. And this is really the whole point. This is the big takeaway. Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG, transforms a chatbot from being a kind of forgetful, sometimes helpful assistant into a world-class expert researcher that's on call for you 24/7. So we've laid out the entire plan, from the first brick all the way to the finished product. This is an incredibly powerful toolkit for creating some truly intelligent systems. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Now that you have the blueprint, what real-world problem are you going to solve? Thanks for tuning in.